We're not experts. We're not influencers. We're just two over-caffeinated idiots with a microphone and way too many hot takes. This is the part where someone says, "You can't say that." And we ask, "Why the hell not?" Welcome to Cancel Us Later. It's called Cancel Us Later.
Right.
So we're just going to kind of dive into some questions, kind of let people get a feel for who we are, kind of what we think, things of that nature. So I got a couple questions to start off written down. I hate using the phone, but I can't remember everything. All right. So a couple quick things. All right. Cancel Us Later. Is cancel culture real? Or is it just people finally facing consequences for what they say?
I think cancel culture is an excuse to get rid of somebody.
That you don't agree with.
Right. So, I don't know. I don't know the current who's in the crosshairs of cancel culture right now. But I think if somebody like, example, Mel Gibson said something I didn't like, it's very easy for me to say he hurt my feelings and he be disbarred of everything he's doing.
Need everybody to write this date down. Shelby has admitted he has feelings. Okay.
I do have feelings, yes.
So with that being said, do we really believe in freedom of speech or just when we agree with it?
I believe in freedom of speech until you impede on somebody's rights.
So are you impeding on my rights just because I disagree with you?
No, I think, that's tough too, because I feel you can say whatever you want as long as it doesn't cause me bodily harm.
Right.
Is what I mean.
Fire in a movie theater.
Yes. You can say whatever you want. It's my responsibility to not react to that.
Okay.
What about you?
All right, one last question for you first.
Okay.
What's something you would say if you knew you couldn't be canceled?
What is something I would say that I...
Topic, like, that you would go all in on if you knew you were uncancelable?
The current BLM movement.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will now answer same questions.
All right, shoot for it.
Cancel culture real, or people just finally facing consequences for what they say or do?
Right.
So, in my opinion, that's a loaded question because obviously cancel culture is real because people are being canceled. Their music's being taken down. They're being dropped off record labels. Nobody's watching their movies. Certain companies have actresses that come out and they say stuff about a movie that's getting ready to come out, and in return, people don't go and see them.
Right.
So, obviously, that is being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go ahead and say it's finally fair that the silent majority is now being the ones that step up and say, you won't cancel us because we have some type of morality. For so long, I feel like the majority has been silent and the minority of opinions has ruled where we stand, where we think, what we do.
What do you rule as a minority of opinions? Somebody that's different from yours? Or somebody that's not being heard?
If 96% of people don't agree with something, but the 4% of people's opinion end up outweighing the majority of opinions because they're they're louder or the media pushes their opinions more. It's not that people believe that, it's just that that's the narrative that's being pushed. And I think that people are finally stepping up and saying enough is enough.
I agree with it.
Yeah. So, do we really believe in freedom of speech or just when we agree with it? I completely agree with freedom of speech, whether you agree with it or not. You have the right to make yourself sound like a buffoon. That's fine. You can say what you want to say, but there's consequences if you cross a line.
But the line between me and you is different.
I agree. Yes, the line between me and you is different. So,
Right.
but that doesn't mean there's not freedom of speech. That just means your button that can be pushed is different from my button. Doesn't mean I can't say it. I can say almost anything to you, and you're not going to be persecuted. You're not going to go to jail for it. You might get your butt kicked,
Right.
but you have the right to say that. You just better be able to back it up if you cross a line. Now, you shouldn't go into a theater and yell fire and stuff like that. That's
Right.
that's different. I don't believe in slander and libel and things of that nature where you're purposely causing harm. That's not freedom of speech. There's a difference, in my opinion, of freedom of speech and just outright blatantly lying.
I agree with that.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a hot take.
Okay.
I 100%, we're going to go ahead and hit politics early on.
All right, great. That's my favorite topic.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that if it comes out that there is no evidence that he's in the Epstein files and things like that, then that is crossing a line what Elon Musk tweeted out the other day. Because he is intentionally trying to destroy somebody's character and reputation because he got his feelings hurt. The billionaire who was given power and thought he was untouchable was no longer at the big boy table. And he didn't like it. And so he threw a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old.
So it wouldn't surprise you, or it would surprise you that he would be on the list?
There's no way he's on the list. Let's just be honest. The 4 years he was not in office, they threw everything that they could at him with all the lawsuits, the courts, the blatant slander that they did against him. You're telling me that if he was on those files that they wouldn't release them as a way to finally destroy his ability to run for office?
But didn't they hold the release of the list because they were afraid there'd be a victim on it?
No, you can cross out a victim's name. You can blackline, retract that, and show proof that he's on there. Because we know that there was a former president who's been on the flight logs and all of that type of stuff. They released that information without releasing victims' names.
I think it's safe to assume that he is on the list because there are pictures of them two together.
Yeah, but he openly has stated that once he realized who he was, who Epstein was, that he banned him from Mar-a-Lago and wanted nothing to do with him after that. Once he discovered who he was.
Or did he do that for cancel culture?
That was before cancel culture was cancel culture. He banned him long before he was president.
Well, my issue with that is I think if he removed him from all these places, didn't allow him to come in, whatever, I think personally he is trying to save face. I'm not saying that he is on the list. I'm not saying he is not on the list. I'm saying he's trying to save face like everybody else does when a situation like this comes about.
But see, so there's a difference, though, between being a billionaire playboy and dating legal aged women and being a billionaire playboy and going after underaged women. Yeah, it's weird if you're 40 years old and she's 20. It's weird. I don't know why she'd be interested in you besides your bank account, but it's not illegal. So to state that there was stuff of him doing illegal activities, and if there is no proof of that that's where you cross the line. You are openly trying to destroy somebody's character and destroy their reputation, something that they might never be able to get back.
So how would you feel if it was true?
The same way I feel that anybody's name is on with underage girls
Okay.
or underage individuals.
Okay.
They should never see the light of day again. 100%. There is no place in modern day society for people that harm children or underage. Because a 16-year-old is not a child per se,
Right.
but they are not an adult and should not be put in those situations. So, underage.
Right. I agree with that. But I think there is a possibility that he'd be on the list.
Okay, but what if he's not? Then, I mean, should he face consequences for throwing something out there like that, knowing the platform he has, and making that damning of a statement?
I think if it does come to light that he participated, yes, something should happen to him. But I don't think anything will happen.
No. If it comes to light that he's not on there, should anything happen to Elon for posting that?
Oh, Elon. No. Yes. Because it could be damaging on his image, I guess. But I don't think, again, anything will happen to him. He's too far up the chain to even...
So you think even if he's on it, they're just going to hide it?
Yes, he has enough power to do that.
As much as he's hated, I think you're wrong. I think you're absolutely positively wrong, because they want to take him out, that they haven't mind lying. So if they actually had something that was real evidence, why wouldn't they use it?
I don't know. My biggest question is, why does Elon know what's on the list?
He doesn't. He was throwing a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old. He knew that was a hot button,
Right.
and he threw it out there with no evidence, because he even says on there, save this. You'll see in the future I'm correct.
Yeah, I don't know about... I want to feel a certain type of way, but at the end of the day, it's not... It doesn't affect anything I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. With some of the stuff, I feel people get too heated, too upset, and all of that, because it's not going to change your day-to-day life.
Right.
But if we don't put a stop to it now and hold those who have done things accountable, when will it stop?
I don't think you can stop it. I think at that level, what happens, happens.
I think if you start making an example out of people with a 50-cent solution, then the word gets around.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, it'll never happen. But I'm saying that is a solution. I mean, the word gets out that, you do this and this happens. People are going to start thinking twice about what they do.
Right, for lower level people.
Yeah.
Like
I agree with that. I agree.
Like you and I. It's different between you and I versus people in their stature.
Yeah.
They can bury it. We can't.
That's fair.
Yep.
All right. So what's some questions you have for people to kind of get to know us today a little bit? Boy, that is going to be a sound effect people love hearing in their ear. Thank you for that.
I'm thinking. This is my process. I don't know. We argue about it. It feels like we argue about everything.
We do argue about everything, and sometimes it's hard to, because they don't know our day-to-day life and the things we argue about. So some of the arguments don't make sense, or just to throw them in there.
Right.
So I get that, and that's why episode 1 is kind of a feel out, let everybody see who we are, kind of where your opinions, most of the time wrong, stand.
I don't feel like I'm wrong about anything.
Because that's your opinion.
No.
It's just the majority of people will disagree with you.
Well, that's why they call it an opinion, I guess.
So
That hurts my feelings a little bit.
there's the feelings again. All right. gonna come up with some questions here.
Okay. Okay. Is water wet?
Oh, we're gonna go down this
Is
road.
water wet?
Yes.
Why?
I love how your argument with stuff is why and how come. You don't bring any facts to it. You just
I'm asking. I'm engaging this
okay.
conversation.
So if I take water
right,
and you put your hand in said water,
yes,
what is your hand?
covered in water.
Your hand's wet.
No, it's covered in water.
So if I take a bucket of water
Yeah.
and throw it on you,
Yeah.
what are you?
Covered in water. I wish I was. This is my opinion. You're interested in my opinion. So,
So then what is wet? Based on that thinking, then if you're just covered in water, how can you ever be wet?
I don't think wet exists.
Does dry exist?
Yeah.
Then how can wet not exist? Because if there's one thing, there has to be the opposite. There has to be the yin and the yang.
If when you're dry, that means there's no moisture, right?
And moisture is what?
Water.
Which is,
Water.
oh my gosh. Okay. Let's just go down this road with you.
Okay. Let's go.
So continue. So right now, you're free of moisture.
Right.
You're free of water.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that makes you wet, is water.
Yes.
Okay.
What else would make you quote unquote the wet word? Because water is the base of everything. If I have soda poured on me, right? I have soda on me.
But you would
If-
still be wet.
If I
If
get-
you have milk poured on you, you're still
I have
wet.
milk on me. I don't sit here
Yes,
and
you
say,
have-
"Oh, my shorts is wet." My shorts.
Yes, you would. I have
would not. My
I have
shorts
literally
would
heard
have-
you.
What?
I have literally heard you at work before talking about it's so hot. I'm wet.
Sweaty. I believe the term you're looking for is sweaty.
Which is you're covered in your body's natural producing water, which makes your shirt wet.
No, then my shirt would be sweaty.
This is just day-to-day life with you.
It is, and I enjoy it. I'm not. This is not an argument. I'm trying to influence other people on. This is what I believe. You're covered in water. You're not wet. You don't have milk on your or you don't. You're not wet from the milk. You have milk on your shorts.
But your shorts are physically wet. They are no longer dry.
No, your shorts have milk on them. Oh, I spilled milk on my shorts.
And now in that area where you spilled said milk, your shorts are void of dryness.
Yeah, because there's milk there.
Thus causing them to be wet.
No.
Yes.
They just got milk there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's you
I'm
know.
trying to see. I'm glad you see my way of thinking.
No, I just know that sometimes there's no point in fully arguing with you because you come prepared like a 2-year-old who's just learned to talk. You don't really have an opinion on it.
That is my
You have a hot take and you'll just repeat the hot take with no factual basis behind it.
Do you have to have factual basis for everything? What is the factual basis on your shoes being white?
Because they're white. We were
That's-
taught this color is white. If we were taught this color was yellow, I would say my shoes aren't white, they're yellow.
Right, but there's no factual basis. There's no facts that exist there.
Except for the fact there is.
Oh.
We know that this is the color white, and it's on my shoe, therefore my shoes are white. That is a fact.
Agree to disagree.
How is that not a fact?
I think for you to try to validate your reasoning and your opinions, you throw the fact word out. Because that's a matter of fact. And that's not the case.
Because I bring facts to the table.
You bring opinions.
Opinionated facts.
There we go. Using the correct terms. Opinionated facts.
Yes.
Your opinions are not
that
facts.
that are brought with statistics and facts to help show how I formulated my opinion.
It's no. This is crazy for you to think like that.
So it's okay for you to think the way you think, but because I think differently, I'm wrong.
I don't go around calling people idiots for thinking something differently.
I don't go around calling people
No,
idiots.
just me.
Just you.
Just
yes.
me.
Well, that's because most of the time your thoughts are idiotic.
Okay, let's try another one.
Game of Thrones season 7 is the best
Oh,
season there was.
it was.
Spoiler alert.
It tied the whole show together.
And it also showed that they didn't know where they were going with it. And they were just like, oh, we'll make this bozo the king and they'll like it.
Let me guess, you think Jon Snow is the rightful heir and would have been the best option, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes. And that is the popular opinion on that.
I don't care about popular opinion.
It was the most logical choice in it. How was it not? You take somebody who spent the whole show years running and hiding, and then you give him the power. Because during his running and hiding, he found the Raven and became the Raven.
Gained a superior power. What does Jon Snow have?
Courage, bravery.
It doesn't take courage to boss people around.
It takes courage to do the right thing. And then this entire time, they're sitting there. The North has to bow before a king. That and they're all, the North will not bow. And then at the end of the show, he's like, we'll all bow before the king. And then it gets to his sister, and she's like, the North will respect you, but we won't bow before you. And his first moment as king, he goes, we accept that. He's weak.
That's the way it's always been. The
He's
North
weak.
doesn't bow down to anybody.
Then they shouldn't get any protection and any privileges that come from the kingdoms.
The North protects people. They don't need protection.
So you're telling me the only way in was only through the North, that they didn't have other ports that they could have come through a different direction?
What do you think the wall is for? The North is there for a reason.
Yeah, but there was other areas to get there. It's not like the North was the only way to get there. That was just one entrance.
Right, but in the sake of Game of Thrones, you're talking about a certain entity being protected from. So why was the North there? Why is the wall built? To keep what out? The wildlings?
Sure, you can go with that.
The frozen people?
You can go with that. The enemy? Yeah, that's
So
fine.
I don't understand how you're so upset about him allowing the North to not bow down.
Then they shouldn't be included in the provisions by the kingdom.
They're part of the land.
Then you should bow before the king because you are part of the land that he rules. And in his first moment of being king, he cowers down to somebody.
Let's entertain your Jon Snow idea, okay? Say Jon Snow is the king. What would be 80% of his time worrying about? As king.
The kingdom.
The North.
No.
Yes.
No.
If you give the North responsibility to protect the North, not worry about it, why not do it?
They can protect the kingdom and still be part of the kingdom and take a knee before the king. You're just saying that you realize that there is a higher power other than you.
I don't think there's a higher power than the northern people, to be honest.
Then why don't they formulate their own kingdom?
Because you can't have two kingdoms in the same area.
So I guess they should either join or move somewhere
They're
else.
part of the six kingdoms. They're just not acknowledging whoever's in the seat. They're not bowing down. They bow to no one.
And you find that like courageable and respectful.
Yes. They're willing to make a difference. They can have what they want.
Okay, let's reverse that. You're king.
Okay.
And a land you rule over
Right.
says, I respect that you're king. But I'm not going to bow. I'm not going to take a knee before you like every other kingdom does.
Less on my plate. There's a tactical advantage in having the North.
That doesn't respect you.
They respect me. They're not bowing down to me.
But see, you can't have both. I
Yes,
mean,
you
you
can.
can't. You have to have both. If they truly respected you, they would follow the rules that were set before by taking a knee before the king.
Nobody says they're not following the rules now. They're just not bowing down. Bowing down shows a sign of weakness. You can't be weak in the North.
That's not true because Brendan was weak.
He wasn't in the North.
He's literally from the North area.
I'm talking living, breathing, protecting the North. Yes, he was part of, was a Winterfell, right?
Which is in the North. Whoa.
Anyway, so
Let that come at you and you would have responded the same way.
it probably did, and I just didn't see it. So anyway, I think the North not bowing is legitimate. Why do you have to have somebody to bow to you? It's like an ego trip for you.
Because it was customary in the times that they were in.
Uh,
It was how it was like taking an oath.
It was an ego trip. That's all bowing is.
Then how come the rest of them didn't have a problem with it?
Because they're weak, and they know they're weak. Northern people aren't weak. Okay. Who would be your second? Take Jon Snow out of the picture. Who would be your second? Let me guess, Arya.
No.
Okay, who?
She's just a better pick than her brother.
Jon Snow.
No, than Brendan.
Okay. Who would be your second?
You're not going to agree with it. Maybe she went a little crazy, and that's fair. But are we? So that depends. Characters that are alive at the end, or characters that could have been a good king.
Overall, who would be better than Jon Snow? Or who would be your second after Jon Snow?
Jon Snow's not my first pick.
Who's your first pick?
Jon Snow's my first pick of those who lived.
Okay.
So second pick of those who lived up until the last episode would be Khaleesi.
She was, and she squandered it.
How did she squander it?
She was killing innocent people.
I never said she didn't go a little crazy. That was in her DNA to be a little crazy.
I don't... Yeah. Three-Eyed Raven. Way to go. Hands
No.
down. Yes. He saved the people. He saved the world.
By doing what? Hiding for years? What did he
Telling
do
everybody what was about to happen.
They had been saying that for years. Winter is
didn't
coming.
know there was
Winter is
gonna-
coming. Season 1, they said winter is coming.
They didn't know there was going to be a zombie dragon.
Let's not even go into any of that because literally as soon
It's
as
part
those
of it.
people showed up, boom, it was over and done with. Soon as that fight happened, it ended.
The dragon?
The whole ice people coming in, the
Why? Why did it...
The White
how did-
Walkers.
How did it end? Who gave them that vision?
no.
The Three-Eyed Raven.
No. But that doesn't mean he saved them. Just because you have knowledge of something doesn't mean you can affect the outcome.
Yes, you can heavily influence it.
You can influence it, yes, but you can't control the outcome.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
That is control. Influence is control.
If I give you insider knowledge on stuff, you might be able to make a better educated guess, but you can't guarantee the outcome of it.
Yes, you can. He foretold the future. Jon Snow can't do that.
So if I told you in 30 seconds, I was going to slap you. We'll just use that as an example.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
In 30 seconds, you're going to get slapped.
Okay.
You can stop that from happening.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 100%.
Yes.
$5 on it.
Yes.
Are you positive?
Yes.
How can you guarantee it's not going to happen?
I could distract you. I could slap you first and then take off running. I don't know. It's gonna be the heat. That's a heat of the moment. You can't.
I'm just saying, just because you have inside information doesn't mean you're gonna be able to control it.
Yes, he controlled the war. They didn't know where to go until he told them where to go.
They were bringing the fight to them.
How did they know the fight was coming?
It was literally on their doorstep with the wildlings and all of that.
Right. But who knew about the dragon? Who knew that the Ice King was going to be there?
That did nothing.
Who did nothing?
That whole situation really did nothing. That was the most overhyped, gonna be something battle that I've ever seen in my life. They talked for years about winter's coming, winter's coming, winter is coming. And then when winter came, it was over and done with in half an episode.
It destroyed Winterfell.
I'm not saying it didn't do destruction and damage. I'm talking about how fast it was wrapped up. Like it was made into this big, huge thing, and then it just was quickly answered. Like you hype up all this stuff, and then in this one season you rush everything to give it an ending.
Was it rushed? Maybe, but still, season 7. And like, what was your best season?
Any of them?
No. What was your favorite season? I can hesitate to tell you what my favorite season is.
You said it, season 7.
Right. But what's yours? Any of them is not a valid.
That's what I'm saying. All seasons are better than season 7.
No.
Yes.
You can't sit there and
You can't. You literally just said earlier that when your opinion is right. This is my opinion. You can't tell me I'm wrong on that. It's my opinion that is the worst season. So all seasons are hands down better than that season.
You tell me I'm wrong all the time with my opinion. So here I am flipping the script on you saying that you're wrong for thinking season 7 is not.
And I'm using your words against you. Season 7 was so bad that you could literally take any other season and it had character development. The show improved from it. From beginning to end, it felt like they were lost on trying to hurry up and finish out that show.
Like I said 2 minutes ago, I think it was a little rushed, but in the same breath, it tied everything together.
Tying together doesn't make it good. That
Yes,
just
it does.
keeps you from having unanswered questions.
And I'm not seeing a negative there.
You can expand upon the answers,
Okay?
and I will be satisfied and fulfilled. You just gave me an answer. So there was no questions at the end, but you didn't develop it. You didn't come formulated with a good idea. You were just like, and now you're a three-eyed raven, and now we'll just go ahead and kill the White Walkers with this dagger, and oh, everybody dies, and now you're king, and yay, and oh, I know you've spent this whole time defending us and protecting us, and you're full of bravery, and you're full of courage, and, a little weird you slept with a family member, but hey, whatever. But we're going to send you back to the wall. Credits roll. That's garbage.
He killed your girl Khaleesi. He deserved to go to the wall.
We agreed that by the end she had gone crazy. That was not somebody that you could let stay around.
Right. So I want to know which season is...
All of them.
That
1
does not...
through 6. It was so bad that every season is better than that. Season 1 was great. Season 1 was great. You were kind of meeting all the characters. You thought the show was going one way. Like, how much did you love Ned Stark? And you're like, I'm looking forward to Ned Stark in this show. Did you think the show was going to be about Ned Stark?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I knew the show was going to be Jon Snow.
Did you read the books or something like that?
I did.
And how can the show be about Jon Snow and he's not a good fit as king? Okay, whatever.
A story could be about somebody and them not be a fit king.
But he was so much more than just a peon to go and throw at the wall to go and die.
His actions led him to the wall.
He earned the right to be more than that.
I agree in the beginning, yes. I agree with that.
What did he do by the end? that meant he was unworthy for anything else and only worthy to go to the wall.
When he couldn't stand Khaleesi anymore. Where he drew the line was when she was killing innocent folks, right?
Yeah.
Why did he show his weakness then? Why didn't he just let it sit for a minute?
What?
Why didn't he just let it unfold? Let the story unfold instead of killing her right then and there.
Because he was stopping her before she could hurt more innocent people. And so once again, showing courage and bravery and killing the woman he loves, even though it was a family member, we're going to send him to the wall?
By the rightful king, yes. That was his decision.
Not the rightful king. Not the rightful king.
Better than any other option you have.
Based upon the lineage and all of that, it was Jon Snow was more of a rightful king than him.
I can understand that, but no.
All he did was remove his political opponent. That's what he did. He made sure that the one who was the strongest and who could stand up and possibly take it from him never got an opportunity to. Because he's a coward and he's weak.
Jon Snow?
No, Brendan.
It's weird because when you're talking about a coward and weak, I thought you were talking about Jon Snow.
There's no way you thought anything he did was cowardly and weak.
Well,
the man ran into battle numerous times.
Okay, so you had the beginning of Jon Snow, coward.
How was he a coward?
He wised up in the middle, and towards the end went back to his cowarding ways.
Please explain that.
He was afraid of Khaleesi.
How was he afraid of her?
He was afraid of the death that she was bringing.
Or would he not stand for the innocent lives being taken?
He didn't want to be king to begin with. He said that outright.
It doesn't matter.
He didn't want to be king outright. Right?
Sometimes you have to do what's for the good of people and not what's in your best interest.
Murder is not for the good of the people.
I bet you the innocent people that continue to live afterwards completely disagree with that.
You don't know who was going to live and who was going to die, do you?
Well, neither did the writer, based upon the way he was going with that.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, we could talk about this all day. We could. And we have.
You'd just be wrong all day.
That's wild. I mean, maybe, we can read some comments and see what people think. And, I'm not even really sure. This is episode 1. People might not even see it. I'm not even sure we gave our names in this.
We didn't.
We didn't.
No. I don't think it's important right now, though.
They'll just be like, dude in the orange hat, your opinion's dumb. You're wrong.
Yeah. That's what you call me every day anyway, so why can't that just be my name?
Because you don't always wear a hat. And then that's when we'll really call you dumb.
I wear a hat. I thought this was America. I had freedoms.
According to you, only until they impede or I dislike them.
Right, and you offend me when you tell me I look stupid without a hat.
I didn't say you looked stupid without a hat. My exact words were, "Where's your hat?" And then when you made a dumb comment, I was like, it makes sense. You don't have on your hat, so you're making stupid comments.
It's a roundabout way of calling me stupid because I'm not wearing my hat.
So the hat keeps the stupid ideas from escaping.
You're the only one in this world that calls me stupid for not wearing a hat. Or I look stupid
That's
for not
not
wearing
true.
a hat.
Literally everybody that day at work said to you, "Where's your hat? Why aren't you wearing a hat? Make sure you wear a hat tomorrow." And you even said yourself, "Why is everybody commenting on the fact that I'm not wearing a hat?" And I said, because it's weird. For a year and a half, you've worn a hat every day except for 2 days.
Okay.
And those 2 days, it was awkward that you didn't have on a hat. Same thing when we were building a shed out back and I took my hat off and all that. You're like, "Oh, you should put your hat back on. You look a little weird without a hat." It's the same concept. Nobody was saying you were stupid. It was awkward and different and weird seeing you without a hat.
Okay. I respect that decision of yours. It's not the right decision.
That is the whole point of this. And then explain to me how I'm wrong.
Would you... Girl puts on makeup for a few days. Goes without makeup the next day. Would you call her stupid? or she made a stupid comment because she was not wearing
No,
makeup.
but when women
Why
don't,
is it-
when women don't wear makeup and they're used to being seen with makeup on, people say to them, "You look tired. You look sleepy. Did you not rest well last night? You look different today." Comments are made towards them when their appearance changes due to not wearing makeup. We didn't say you were stupid for not wearing the hat.
But you
we
could-
just said that it seemed like stupid ideas were flowing out of you. The hat must help keep them in.
But you could see the correlation how someone would feel, right?
No. Because we never directly insulted you.
Yes. And everything I had to say that day.
No. No.
Yeah,
Because
you
whether-
said I made a
whether
stupid
you-
comment. Must be because you're not wearing a hat today.
Even when you're wearing a hat, we still comment on the fact of the stupid ideas you say. That doesn't change. We just commented on it was weird seeing you without a hat. How many comments did people make when we shaved our beards off and just wore the silly mustaches? That whole day, people commented on us because we looked different.
That was probably the biggest regret of my life. I'll be honest with you. It takes me so long.
I feel like that's a road we won't travel down. All right. Now here's the thing. This is just episode 1. These
Okay.
are just kind of an idea. Not everything's going to be Game of Thrones or politics or whatever. And, once we have a few episodes out and all that, we'd love for people to throw some things our directions. Maybe some takes they want to hear, some ideas. We're open to that. This
Right.
isn't just a dictatorship as much as you feel that way of I'm always right and you're always wrong.
It is a dictatorship.
I mean, but
Let the record be straight. It is a dictatorship. If it's anything other than your ideas, it's stupid. But
no,
continue.
if it's anything other than truth and factual basis,
You don't always state the truth.
I state my truth. Just
Your
because
truth
it might
does-
not be your truth doesn't mean it's not a truth.
Your truth does not state the truth, right? Like, who's your favorite football team? Let's go down this.
I
road.
don't need to be hated by all of America and have the gay jokes start being thrown my direction.
I
We
wasn't
get
gonna
it. The
throw
voice
gay.
sounds gay.
I
We're
was
well
gonna-
aware
I
of
was
that.
going to say gay, but okay.
Once we say the football team, the gay jokes start rolling in. Do we need to go through all the text messages of the memes y'all send me? Everybody that's watching this is automatically right now in their head, unless they're idiots, thinking the Dallas Cowboys.
I was talking.
Well,
I
you
wa-
can't ask me college. It's literally behind us. That's just a silly question.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Dallas Cowboys.
All right. I think we've said enough for one episode. If you're offended, congrats. It means we're doing something right. Hit follow, drop a rating, and remember, we're not sorry. We're just getting started. Cancel us later.